Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. We're continuing our series, Resurrection Essentials. And, of course, I want you to subscribe, like. I like to say SNL, subscribe and like, because we have amazing content, and you're going to love today's episode of Resurrection Essentials. But before we get into that, you're going to get a little bit of a groan because of this fantastic joke. So I was driving home from work, and actually I was kind of zipping through traffic, and the police pulled me over and knocked on my window. And, you know, I was like, hold on a second, let me get on, I'm on the phone. Get it? The police knocked on your window. Yeah, you shouldn't be on your phone when you're driving. Just something to kind of keep in mind. You're like, that's really stupid. I agree. But of course, next week will be lots better. And we have something amazing today to talk about in terms of resurrection essentials. And, you know, we talked about death as a necessity for resurrection. We talked about recognizing resurrection. Now we're going to talk about selection. Resurrection, selection. You're like, what does that mean? You just rhymed it. That's why you picked it. No, not entirely. It was nice that it did rhyme, but that's not my whole motive here. I want to point out to you in Matthew 27, verse 5, this is an interesting verse because it talks about Judas. And it says that Judas threw the pieces of silver, you know, he betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. He threw the pieces of silver into the temple sanctuary, ran away, and went and hanged himself. Difficult. Like really, really difficult. And I'm bringing this to your attention because selection. Selecting what stays alive and what is dead. And Judas chose death. He betrayed Jesus and sent Jesus to his death. But Judas also had a choice. He didn't have to kill himself. There was a choice, a selection. And Judas chose death, maybe because he felt like he couldn't get out of it. He was so despondent, so discouraged. Oh my goodness, I betrayed, you know, this amazing, the Messiah, you know, all the things, just dark and discouraging. And he chose to continue. He chose the path of going down the deadly path. But I want us to be attentive to this. And I want you to think about this because I believe that we should be selective in terms of death and resurrection. Selective. We should choose life. We should choose hope. We should choose breath. We should choose light. We should decline, again, actively choosing. We are actively selecting. We should decline despair, depression, hopelessness, darkness. And you're like, well, yeah, that's self-evident. But I want us to be careful because, like, I have some friends and they enjoy some of that darker stuff. And you're like, what do you mean? Well, they like country music. The dog died, my wife left, my car broke down, you know, they like that kind of stuff. And I was reading the other day, I picked up a book and it was, you know, had like all the suicide stuff. And I was like, you know, I don't really think I need to read this. And my mindset, I need to make sure that I'm actively choosing life, selection. The other thing I would say is some things need to stay dead. Some things that have died and finished and concluded, there's no reason to go back and resurrect those things. They need to stay dead. So I'm bringing this to your attention because selection is important. Choosing, actively choosing, monitoring what we're choosing, monitoring what we're putting in, what we're absorbing, what we're thinking about, what's kind of processing in our minds and our emotions. What are the inputs? And then also monitoring what are the things that we want to bring back to life? What are the things we want resurrected? Let's be careful and let's be selective on the resurrection because some things should stay dead and some things need to be removed or rejected so that we can continue to walk in life and resurrection. Judas didn't make that choice. Judas chose the path of death. I don't think he had to. I think he had options and choices. I think he could have made different decisions. And I want us to be conscientious, aware of decisions that we make, and making sure that we're choosing life, actively choosing life. We're selecting life in terms of our focus, in terms of what we muse and what we think about, what rolls in our emotions, what the inputs that we allow, that those are full of life and not death, discouragement, or despondency. So let me ask you this question, and you can think about this and leave it a comment here. What do you find most life-giving to you? What gives you life? What helps you have sunshine in your eyes, breath in your lungs, pep in your step? What gives you life? Just list one or two of those things in the comments. I think that'd be really helpful. And of course, make sure you hit the notification bell right there. That'll keep you posted when we put up new content. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for liking this video. And we'll catch you next week when we continue our Resurrection Essentials.